So good morning all, back for the long-awaited next instalment of Friday Reflections. Obviously I did a very short video after the Man United game, a couple of days late because of work and just generally busy, and I'll be honest with you, I had no enthusiasm for it. Apart from talking about ASM's goal, which is a lovely goal by the way, I've watched it time and time again. I didn't really have any sort of get up and go to do the video. It's just like disappointment after disappointment. But yes, here we are, Friday Reflections. So we play Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow evening, live on Sky Sports, I believe. But let's not make this a review. This is Friday Reflections. So, Friday afternoon, beautiful, beautiful weather down here in Cornwall. Hopefully it's beautiful weather wherever you are, if anyone's watching this. So yeah, fabulous weather. It's been a good day. So time to reflect. Obviously, Wolverhampton on the weekend, much needed 3 points. Hopefully we're going to pick up there. Our next 4 games are absolutely crucial. I may have them in the wrong order, but I think we've got Wolves, West Brom, Villa and then Brighton. Obviously crucial games. The last few games, obviously against Man United and Chelsea, we didn't think that we were going to pick up full points from either of those games. But the performances weren't what we hoped. It was ironic that after the fabulous attitude that we approached the Southampton game with, you know, in the first half we were the dominant side, we looked dangerous on the counter-attack, we passed the ball well, we pressed the opposition, we pressed Southampton when they were in possession. Like I said, we looked dangerous. Miggy getting on the score sheet with a couple of goals. Hoe Willock scoring on his debut. Obviously I know he's not a permanent signing, only a loan. However, it's still, you know, a bit of spark and a bit of attacking flair, attacking creativity is sorely missed in the midfield. We have some attacking players in the central area. Obviously Miggy has been pushed a bit further up the pitch in sort of the last month or so, I would say, which has been pleasing to see. But you know, Jonjo Shelvey, I'm not a massive fan of Jonjo Shelvey. I used to be. I was one of those sort of banging the drum for him to be included in the World Cup squad in the summer 18. So I think in our first season back in the Premier League, I thought he was brilliant. I remember one game when we beat Man United 1-0 at St James's Park. I felt like him and Mo Diame completely nullified Pogba in midfield, and I thought he was really, really good. But I'm looking at what players are capable of now. So Jonjo Shelvey is capable of that killer pass. He's capable of that long diagonal, beautiful ball, which we saw on his debut for Newcastle, showcasing that fantastic like Hollywood pass like Beckham used to show. You know, he's capable of that lovely. He looks very neat and tidy on the ball. He rarely gives the ball away. You know, he's got that outside of the foot pass. He can score from outside the box. He's dangerous from a free kick, like we've seen against West Ham in recent years. So there's Jonjo. And other creativity in midfield, obviously we have Sean Longstaff, who I think on his day is capable of that ball. He's capable of running beyond and laying people off and sliding the ball in beyond the defence. As is, I think, his brother Matty. I know Matty's more of a dynamic sort of box-to-box player, or he's got the potential to be, but he can sit, put his foot on the ball and pick nice passes and get us moving forward. But other than that, there's nothing there. So, I mean, you look at Issac Hayden, who is probably my favourite Newcastle midfielder. Well, no, he is not fairly. He is consistent. 7.58 out of 10 every week. Puts a shift in, tackles, screens, cuts off the pitch. You know, he pressures people. When teams have the ball and we sit off them, he's not one of them just letting them have the ball. He will harry them. But he also, when he does sit off, he cuts off the passing lanes. He cuts off options. He then forces the opposition midfielder to sort of at times hurry his pass or pick the wrong option or go backwards or sideways, which is what we want from our number 6, if you like, our defensive midfielder. So it's interesting to see. So apologies for the interruptions there, just had a phone call from work. So yeah, Issac Hayden does everything that we would like him to do, everything that we expect and hope for in an effective defensive midfielder. I also think Issac Hayden is underrated in possession. I think he rarely gives the ball away. He's quite conservative with the ball. You know, quite often he will pass sideways or backwards. But when you're playing a midfield three of recently Shelvey, Willock and Issac Hayden, Willock will drive with the ball. Shelvey is capable, he doesn't do enough, but he's capable of that forward pass. So you're happy with Hayden recycling possession. You know, it's something that players like, I used to look at John Obi Mikel at Chelsea and I thought, all he's doing is passing it, you know, 2-3 metres, sideways and back, and it used to really annoy me. Not that I'm a Chelsea fan, but I used to think, come on, do more. But now with Issac Hayden, I can appreciate that. Obviously, if we had 2 Issac Haydens doing that in midfield, or 3, it wouldn't be great. But he does everything. So he does journey forward occasionally. I think he's got a decent cross into box, particularly from the right back position. But in terms of go forward, now like I said, we've got creative midfield players in terms of quality of pass, who are, I'm talking about capable now, because they're not doing it enough. The Longstaff boys, John Joe Shelvey. Joe Willock is, of the midfielders being picked to play, the only one who I believe is a genuine box-to-box midfield player. Now, if we somehow stay in the Premier League, which I'm sorry to say, everybody, I don't think we are. Currently, with the current manager, the players with the current attitudes, and the current setup and tactics, we are not staying in the Premier League. But if we do, I think Joe Willock needs to be made a permanent signing, or someone of his quality, potential and ability and style of play. Like I said, the only genuine box-to-box midfield player we have. He's added something. He's really added something. You know, he just... I criticised him online, particularly for the second Man United goal. Issac Hayden, who I've just glorified, stands off Matic. Willock then goes into challenge, does not make any attempt to challenge. You know, it's just outside the box. Okay, I'm not saying go diving in with us and smash him with a sliding tackle, but he just lets him do what he wants. And although Matic has been a great player in the past, particularly at his time at Chelsea, you know, let's be honest, he has the speed and turn the circle of a double-decker bus. If that was a Bruno Fernandes or a Marcus Rashford or a Martial, you know, someone who's sharp on the turn, you can almost forgive that. But he doesn't even try and shepherd him. He just lets him turn around him and then plays that ball across. But Joe Willock adds some go forwards, he adds some enthusiasm, and he adds some energy in the midfield, which John Joe Shelvey, to be fair, has showed energy in the first half an hour against Man United. He pushed up the pitch, he pressed, which was nice to see, but he cannot do that for 90 minutes. Now, whether that is a lack of concentration, a refusal to put in graft, or just a plain fitness issue, I'll never know. Joe Willock adds that. Where are we most lacking at the moment? Right. So in the first half against Man United, defensively, I think only one area was properly exposed, and that was Emil Kraft. Emil Kraft, as we all know, into his second season at Newcastle, and it's not happened for him at all, is it? He's been exposed as a fish out of water. He is not a Premier League player, far from it. We didn't spend a lot of money on him, and you could say that, you know, what did we, you know, in today's market, 4.5 million for a right back from France, who wasn't from one of the top teams, who wasn't from PSG, who wasn't from Marseille or Lyon or Rennes. Now it's nice to see Rennes doing well. I've been to see them a couple of times on holiday in France. You know, so for what in today's market, what did we expect for 4.5 million? But it's not happened. One game I can remember him doing well was Burnley, earlier on in the season when we beat 3-1 at St James's. Now, he played, don't get me wrong, he played well at right back, and then impressed me at centre half when I think somebody got injured. I think it was Fabian Schär. So Emil Kraft went to centre back, and he played against Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, and we didn't concede a goal with him at centre back, and he looked good. He didn't look comfortable with Chris Wood, but he dealt with him. He knew he couldn't beat him in the air, so he was quicker on the feet, intercepting, putting little tackles in and stuff. Now, Alan Saint-Maximin was fully fit and firing that day. He was man of the match by a million miles. Playing on the right wing. He played on the left wing a lot in the first sort of 20-25 minutes. Then transferred over to the right wing, particularly in the second half, and helped Emil Kraft. Helped him a lot. So a defensive right back like Emil Kraft is not going to get exposed as much when he has a flair attacking winger. Because an attacking winger like ASM on his day is not just providing an attacking threat in terms of posing a threat to the opposition's goal or exposing their defence. He's pinning them back. He's pinning the back. So, you know, for example, if we are playing against Man U, a fully fit, fully firing ASM, directly playing opposite Marcus Rashford. I know Man United have more quality than we have, they have the better resources, etc. But that pins Rashford back or forces him to come in field more. Whereas who did we have? We had Joe Linton on the right midfield up against Marcus Rashford, because obviously we're playing that. It seems to me like Miggy's almost in a false 9. It was a 2 at times, but particularly in the first half, it was more of a 3. It was ASM off the left, Joe Linton off the right, and Miggy pushing up through the middle. Joe Linton offers very little going forward. He had some nice touches in that game, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to pick the ball up. He's not going to pick the ball off Emil Kraft and then run and get Marcus Rashford running the other way. Marcus Rashford is going to be confident in his fullback, and Luke Shaw can deal with Joe Linton, and it's just going to hang up and wait for that ball to come back to him. ASM on his day negates that completely. But because ASM, he looked okay against Man U, he scored a fabulous goal. He had a few half chances in the first half, but he didn't give Jamal Lewis that protection through that same means. He's not obviously a midfield winger who will get back and help out his fullback as much as we'd like him to. That is an area he can certainly improve. But, you know, defensively, we can ask him to do a job by posing that threat and pushing their winger back. There we go. So I thought prediction for my prediction for the lineup, I don't know. One positive, I've heard today that Callum Wilson should be back for the final 9 games of the season, which is absolutely crucial, particularly when you look at the 2 games at the end of the season, Sheffield United and Fulham. You know, if we've got our best striker capable, fit and firing to score a couple of goals in each game, you know, if it comes down to if we need to win those games to stay up, we've got a whole lot better chance with Callum Wilson in our team. Also, you look at the 4 fixtures leading up to that: Leicester, City, Liverpool and Arsenal. You know, we have a chance of nicking a draw if we play out of our skin against, if Liverpool continue as they are. Arsenal are up and down. You know, Leicester might fall off like they did last season. I don't think we'll get anything at City or against City, but there we go. So yeah, predictions for the weekend, for the lineup. I expect to see Dubravka in goal. I think a lot of the fans are calling for it. It feels harsh calling for Carl Darlow out the team. However, I think he's really suffered from seeing Dubravka fit and ready on the bench. It's knocked his confidence a bit. He's under pressure, and I'm sorry, Carl, but we're getting to the stage of the season where we need our best players in our best positions. And if we were sitting comfortable in mid-table, 12th, 13th, clear of the relegation zone, like say 10-15 points clear, then you would persist with Carl for a couple more games at least, you know, until he makes another few mistakes. But like that goal again, that Rashford goal, I know Kraft is at fault, like I said it in the morning after the show. But wow, you know, when we're scrapping for our lives, you cannot be beaten at the near post like that. So I expect to see Dubravka in goal. I expect to see Jamal Lewis at left back. Federico Fernandez, I think, is available now. I think it'd be too soon to bring him back in, but you never know with Steve Bruce. I don't think Jamal Lascelles has done anything glaringly wrong apart from his role in the second goal where he's not picking anyone up. Therefore Clark has to move across and Lewis has to move across, leaving Daci's free, but he hasn't done anything glaringly obvious. So I think it'll be the same two centre halves. I think it'll be Kieran Clark and Jamal Lascelles. Has to be Emil Kraft right back. Mankier's not fit yet. However, I say it has to be. It's the thing I want to touch on. I've spoken about Isaac Hayden already. However, for these next 4 games, which are huge, there's no two ways about it, these next 4 games will more than likely dictate where our fate come end of the season. I think there's a strong argument, just because Kraft is low on confidence. The fans are low on confidence in terms of Emil Kraft, and the manager has to be as well, because he got all right. The tactics and formation were at fault against Chelsea, but he got, you know, he hasn't been great in either game, to be honest. He was good. He came on well against Southampton, so I think there's a strong argument to play Isaac Hayden in right back. However, if we play Isaac Hayden in right back, like we all know, we lose so much in midfield. I think I'd love to see a 4-2-3-1 like we've been crying out for all season, with ASM on one side, Fraser on the other. I think that is feasible if we play Isaac Hayden at right back. I think that's feasible then, because Isaac Hayden is, like I said, he's not going to get up the pitch much. But if we have a Ryan Fraser or an ASM right wing, he doesn't need to do that. He can just tackle well like he does, get in position, win the ball, screen, just give the ball to ASM, and ASM can go then with full confidence, or Ryan Fraser can go with full confidence, knowing that if they lose the ball and they've got some ground to make up, they've still got to bust along to get back, don't get me wrong, but Isaac Hayden is there. And when we get forward, he does get forward. He's not a rampaging fullback like Andy Robertson, but he does get forward and he's available. He makes himself available to receive the ball in that sort of right wing area, and he can put the ball in good positions. But whereas Emil Kraft doesn't do that, so I think there's an argument for that. So 4-2-3-1, I'm going to go for it. It won't happen, but this is what I would do. So you need 2 system midfielders then. Now this is the problem, because we've taken out our best midfielder in Isaac Hayden. I think there's an argument for John Joe Shelby. I think, actually, do you know what I'll do? I would play Matty Longstaff alongside Jeff Hendrick. Now I can already imagine people going, Jeff Hendrick, what the fuck are you talking about? He nearly cost us the game against Southampton. Yeah, I agree. However, he was underrated against Everton. I've watched that game back since. He was very neat and tidy, but he did the dirty things. He did John Joe's hard work for him. He pressed, he got at people, and there wasn't a lot of quality on the ball there, but he got at people. He did his job as like a defensive midfield player. Fucking traffic. You'd love to see Matty Longstaff and Sean Longstaff in midfield. If you remember, Matty Longstaff, I think it was the next game after his debut against Man United, was alongside his brother against Wolves, and they did very, very well together. But I think it's too soon for both of them, because they haven't played for so long. Sean hasn't, I can't remember the last time Sean played. Matty, obviously, he played, I think the last time he played was against Leicester, sort of around Christmas time. So yeah, Matty, I can see, we need someone needs to be the passer, someone needs to be the destroyer, and I think Matty Longstaff can do sort of like the passing role, and Jeff Hendrick can be like the destroyer. and do the hard work. And I think that'll be okay. Matty as well can drop deep and just not control the game, because obviously we don't expect that. But he's capable of that, you know. He can drop deep, put his foot, you know, if we're under the cosh a bit, he can put his foot on the ball and drop deep. But also when we're in possession, if we're worried about them breaking, he can drop back a little bit, put his foot on the ball, sort of watch the game, see what's going on. And then your front three ahead of that is what we've been asking for all season. Ryan Fraser on one wing, ASM on the other, Miggy through the middle in the number 10 position. And then ideally it would be Callum Wilson up front, but it's not going to be. So I think it's Dwight Gale. I think the last two games, particularly Man United, was the game for Andy Carroll to really test Harry Maguire in the air, really test. I saw the Peter Crouch podcast. I watched that quite a lot. Brilliant. I recommend it if you haven't seen it. You know, hilarious bloke and just a genuine likeable guy. And I've never heard anyone say a bad word against him about his personality. And he was saying, you know, obviously as an aerial threat, he would just pull on to the centre half that he didn't deem was good in the air, and he would target that centre half. Obviously Andy Carroll, he would target onto Lindelof, easy. So but I think Wolves is the game for Dwight Gale in behind, you know, so we shall see what will happen there. I've seen some stuff about flags being put outside the ground today, or outside the St James's Park today, with Mike Ashley holding up 2 cards with jokers on them, with what do you call it, Steve Bruce on them. But I'm obviously in support of that, because I think it's fast becoming too late. We need to act now. Obviously I've seen recently online, you know, Steve McLaren, it was 24 points from 25 games that season we went down, and we're on just one better, 25 points from 25 games. Something he's not going to get sacked anytime soon, is he? I do think if we come out of these 4 games with say God forbid we lose all 4 games, I think Ashley will have to act. He'll have to, particularly if we lose against Brom and Brighton. He'll have to do something, because let's be honest, Wolves, I don't know, Wolves is a bit of a lottery game, but I don't expect us to get a win against Aston Villa. But he'll have to act. I'll do a video next week about who I would want, because that's a rant for another time. But yeah, time is fastly running out. I believe we'll go down. If things stay the same, I believe we'll go down, which is it's a gut-wrenching. Look at the state of my hair. It's a gut-wrenching thing to say. The thing that mystifies me is, I'm sure we've heard it all before, but Mike Ashley, we keep getting told that although he obviously doesn't care about the club, and he's not a nice bloke, and we've seen this stuff about the 0 hours contracts for Sports Direct and the way he's treated managers in the past, but we keep getting told he's a smart businessman, and he obviously must be to some capacity, because he's made his fortune. But Jesus Christ, if you want to sell this fucking club and you want 350 million for it, you ain't going to get 350 fucking million in the Championship. You ain't. You want to sell the club. We want you gone. Act now to save your investment, or you'll pay the fucking price. It's either going to be a case of, in the Championship, you're going to get half the money if you're fucking lucky, or no one's going to touch it. And we'll just go down. We'll do a Sunderland. I was speaking to a Sunderland fan at work today. I was like, all due respect, mate, but that's what I can see happening. I'm fearful of us doing a Sunderland. And who's going to want to invest in? And we will just become a shit team in League 1 or League 2 who's got a big stadium. And in the end, money will dwindle. Mike Ashley will fuck off and sell the club to anyone. And we'll have to fucking sell the stadium to make money and keep afloat and fucking all this shit. Mike Ashley, act now, or your investment will be fucked. But anyway, Wolves tomorrow night, we go again. I think we might, I fall into this trap every week. Me and my mate, who I speak to every match day, we fall into this trap every week of hopeful. But I really do think Wolves away, Wolves, there's worse fixtures for us. Wolves are an up and down team. We might nick a draw here. Something could happen. Someone who we played's got to have a bad day. So we're due playing against a team having a bad day. We shall see. Anyway, see you later.